Let's talk trade for Africa's largest economy in the second quarter of this year. Nigeria's total foreign trade in goods came in at 12.8 trillion second quarter of 2022, down about 1.2% from the 13 trillion recorded in the first quarter of this year, but higher than the 9.7 trillion recorded in the first quarter of 2021. Total exports for the second quarter came in at 7.4 trillion naira, higher than both the first quarter of this year and the corresponding quarter of 2021. As we take a look at those figures right now, the highest export value recorded was for crude oil, accounting for nearly 80% of total exports in that quarter. Also, Nigeria's total imports in the second quarter of 2022, 5.4 trillion naira, lower than the first quarter of the year, but higher than the corresponding period of 2021. Motor spirits, ordinary, that's the category, accounted for the largest import value at 948 billion. And let's take a look at the top 5 exports and import destinations for Nigeria. Import destinations first, China first, 26.1%, accounting for that amount of total imports, followed by Belgium, India, the Netherlands, and the United States. We take a look at the top 5 export destinations. India top there, 14.85%, followed by Spain, the Netherlands, the USA, and Indonesia. And Indonesia is the subject of our discussion today. Joining us to talk about trade, particularly with Indonesia, is Mr. Ismael Balogun. He's the president of the Nigeria-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So I hope we have we had a snapshot of looking at Indonesia and Nigeria's economic metric. Can you describe the relationship, I guess the trade relationship between both nations?
Thank you so much. So the trade relationship between Nigeria and Indonesia dates back to 1965, actually, when the Indonesian government set up their embassy in Nigeria. And I believe the Nigerian government reciprocated in the 70s. So trade balances has been a bit deficient on the Nigerian side.
Right.
So Indonesia buys a lot of crude from Nigeria, which accounts for the majority of the export. In addition to that, they also do a lot of agricultural commodities, right? We, in turn, as a nation, we buy quite a lot of pharmaceutical products. We buy clothing. We buy electronics. We buy things in the around the vegetable oil, consumables, fast-moving consumer goods. We do a lot of that from Indonesia as well. But beyond that, we want a more triumphant relationship. 2021, the trade balance between the two nations was about $2.6 billion.
Right.
And we believe there's more potential that can be harnessed, and that's why we're very proactive in engaging both countries. We've taken Nigerian delegation to Indonesia in the next couple of months. And we've been doing that for for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And we intend to do more of that.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I guess this delegation, it's a summit in Jakarta.
That is very correct.
Okay,
yes.
so I guess we had the top 5 export destinations. Yes. Indonesia is number 5. Do you think, yes, I guess, based on what's going to be discussed at your summits, can that, so there it is, can that figure be improved as far as the exports to Indonesia? Can Indonesia move up?
That figure can definitely be improved. And I don't believe in just talking about it. I think we have to be very deliberate about it. And what do I mean by being deliberate? So the Nigerian-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry is doing its inaugural edition of the Nigerian-Indonesian Investment and Trade Forum in Jakarta. And we're doing that in collaboration with agencies of the federal government of Nigeria. To be very specific, the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. Their mandate is to promote direct investment, foreign direct investment into Nigeria. And that's part of the things we're doing in Indonesia. We've also partnered with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council as well. Again, we just don't want to go out as a nation and say we're seeking funds to come in. We as a country, we're doing a lot as well in the non-oil export sector to showcase to the global village that, there's more to Nigeria than just oil sales or crude sales. So we have people that are doing manufacturing furniture. We have people in the agro-allied industry. We have people that's mining industry. And this has nothing to do with crude sales. So we want to showcase that as well, and we're partnered with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. We're also working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well to make sure that all the industries, all the federal government agencies are sanitized and sensitized and come on us with us on this show. Now, beyond the Nigerian aspect, we are also talking to the Indonesian counterpart as well.
Okay.
Our ambassador in Indonesia, Ambassador Usman Oger, has been very, very proactive. Is communicating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade. Kadin is Indonesia's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So everyone is carried along because we want to make sure that the delegation we're taking from Nigeria on getting to Indonesia can actually start a full deliberation, discussion, something that's very pragmatic. So for example, if you're into agriculture, and say for example, you're doing rice plantation, we want to make sure that when you come in, you can meet other counterpart investors that have mastered the art of planting rice in Indonesia, and they can then do some element of knowledge transfer to make sure that we can then do more per acreage in terms of production. So those are some of the things we have in plans in the next coming months.
Great stuff. We have a quote from you. I think you've already partially said what's in this quote, where you said that we, that is Nigeria, want to attract foreign direct investment into Nigeria, which is why you're partnering with the NIPC, as you said, and also the NEPC. The challenges with FDI, well, not even challenges with FDI, but as do your counterparts say anything to you about the insecurity situation in Nigeria and how that might be affecting investment coming in here?
The truth is we cannot dismiss it. It's a continuous conversation, but they also understand that insecurity is not existing in every part of Nigeria, right? So as much as we can dismiss it, because every day there's inward flow of income into the country. My background is entrepreneurship. We know that with entrepreneurship, you don't take risk, you don't get any gains, right? So for every country, every individual, every organization that's willing to assess the insecurity or what you call the potential risk vis-a-vis the gain, if you can do your metrics, you will realize that there are companies in Nigeria that are thriving on a daily basis. We have companies from Indonesia partnering in Nigeria as we speak. PT Timah is a state-owned enterprise in Indonesia. They are partnering with a local firm, Top White Ventures. They are mining tin in Jos Plateau State, and they're doing that as we speak. We have PT Intim Picasa out of Indonesia. They are invested heavily millions of dollars in Akwa Ibom, doing what we call a modular refinery, right? We have Wings in Agbara, in Ogun State, producing sanitary wares. Why? We have the Tolerant Group that partner with Kellogg's of USA, producing cornflakes. All these are happening in Nigeria. We have several companies that are involved in what we call fast-moving consumer goods. We have the Mayora Group. I don't know if you know a candy called Kopiko.
I think I've heard of that.
It's a coffee candy. You know, they have them. They have so many brands in Nigeria. So my thing is, we can't focus on the insecurity even though we can't dismiss it. So what we tell them as a nation is, okay, we have the NIPC, who is a one-stop shop. We speak to them, you let us know what your plans are, and we guide you appropriately. Some areas will tell you, you know what, is a no-go area based on security information we have, and advise you accordingly. But notwithstanding, Nigeria remains a very fertile ground for investors from Indonesia to come in and partake and enjoy in this process.
Great stuff. Non-oil exports. You you already said it here. That you want to improve that aspect, that Nigeria is not just oil, right?
Absolutely not.
All right. So, but if you look at our exports, if you look at the exports that we made, crude oil. Do you listen to Bryson Tiller? He's an R&B artist. There's a song, I don't know if we have that song. It's always been that way. And when
I assume nothing is about to change.
He has a song by that title, and it's always been that way. So it's always been that way. That crude oil has accounted for almost all of our exports. How do you hope to change that? How do you hope to change that?
So the strategy is very clear, right? You know, agriculture is the way forward. And we're not just talking about subsistence agriculture, we're talking about mechanized agriculture. So you have countries that have very little arable lands and they are producing mega in terms of their outputs. I can list them. So, I mean, the days of abandoning agriculture to the less privileged, or is a thing that you do in the farm or in the village, those days are gone. We're talking about a nation that's battling with food sustainability and security. So if you're into agriculture, or if you've not thought about it, it's the time to actually invest in agriculture. We have aquaculture. We have a client, a member of our Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Green Tech Industries. They produce cassava and convert to edible starch, what we call food grade starch, right? They are going from there to produce fructose, sorbitol, sweetener, and all those things. Needless to say, these are needed by mega multinational industries, your Cadbury, your Nestle, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you have aquaculture. I mean, basically, we have water unending, right? Vessels, the marine life, the potential is enormous, right? So the sooner we start to divest, actually, from looking into the oil and gas specifically and looking at other areas in the economy, the better for Nigeria. And guess what? Indonesia seems to have perfected some of those things. I have to say that, right? They were here in 1965. They took the palm kernel seeds and went back to Indonesia, modified them, genetic modification, whatever you want to call it. End result, 2021, 22, they are the largest exporter of groundnut oil to the whole world.
Right.
Not just to them alone. Guess what? We are one of their biggest consumers, right? It's never too late, right? That was 65, this is 2022. We can retrace our steps. So I would encourage anyone listening out there, agriculture is the way forward. Yeah.
Okay, is there a time frame as to where we can see the fruits of the relationship between the two, whether these numbers will increase? I mean, I know it can't happen overnight.
It can't.
So what are you looking at first?
So, we're very deliberate, strategic, and, our mission to Indonesia in October 2022, from the 17th to the 27th. Again, it starts with the Indonesian Trade Expo. This is a yearly event that's been going on for 37 years, right? At the expo, our delegation are exposed to several products from the Indonesian manufacturing sector: agriculture, mining, defense, aquaculture, renewable energy, power, oil and gas, all that stuff, right? So that's from the 19th to the 23rd. Starting on the 24th, we start our own Nigerian-Indonesian Investment and Trade Forum. Now, the purpose is very specific. We have on day one what we call G2G, government to government. So the government of Nigeria, we've invited the office of the Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibajo, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, Otumba Adebayo, and so many others, right? And we're engaging with the counterpart ministries in Jakarta. Now, what are we talking about here? The ease of doing business. What has been the stagnating things or issues or hurdles that has prevented the easy flow of transactions in the past? And how could we redirect that and make sure things flow easier? For example, visa issues, right? If I'm an investor and I want to do business in Indonesia, I shouldn't have to work so hard to get that done. It should be easy. Likewise, the Indonesian investors as well. So the immigration of Indonesia and those of Nigeria are part of this discussion we're talking about. That's day one. Day two, we're doing government to business. Now, like I said, we've had state-owned enterprises from Indonesia partner with private sector. The perfect example is PT Wika of Indonesia has partnered with Nigerians Quaint Energy. Quaint Energy is a company that's into renewable energy and power development. And the MOU was established 2019, right? But COVID happened and they couldn't execute that.
Right.
Now we're going back in 2020 to finalize that. And then after that, we do business to business. Again, Indonesian businesses, Nigerian businesses that we brought along start to interact, exchange. How can we collaborate? What can we do differently? And it's at this kind of engagement that we actually start to break down those barriers and narratives that you might have had about Nigerians. When you see real men, real women, verified, then you start to change that. Then at the end of that, we hope that by 2023 December, we want to take that trade balance from $2.6 billion to $4 billion.
Okay.
So that's the target
Yeah.
of the Nigerian-Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
We'll have you back, see if we hit those numbers.
I'm ready to come here.
Mr. Ismael Balogun, the
Thank you so
president
much,
of
sir.
Nigeria-Indonesia
Thank you.
Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you so much for
I
joining us.
appreciate you, sir.